Morning guys, it's dlwalker, Holeshot Performance, back with Mr. Green. This is actually day 2. I got some pretty good news, I got some pretty bad news. So, let's start with the bad so we can go to the good. As some of you may know, I went through stage 4 prostate cancer about a year and 4 months ago. And anyway, I had my prostate completely removed. It was stage 4, the worst kind. And so anyway, I've had 2 checkups, 3 months, 6 months, PSA number non-detectable, real good. I just went for my 3rd checkup at 90 days and it's almost up, creeping up to 1 again now. So it should be 0 with no prostate. So fun times ahead. Just to make sure it's not a bad blood test, we're going to do it again in 4 weeks, and then I'll have to deal with it. May have to have radiation again or whatever. It's a freaking nightmare. It took me a year to get over it. So anyway, that's the thing. That's kind of why sometimes I'm a little bummed when I'm doing these videos. I'm not real energized and trying. So anyway, let's get going now. Basically, I already did a full day in here. You'll see the video here after this intro. Another thing I want to cover before we get started here is I want to go over the dyno room here. I used to be in California. My last dyno room was about 200 to 250 feet above sea level with really good air. And this dyno room is about 4,450 feet. I'm in the high desert. It's still pretty decent because we have low humidity. It's real dry air usually, but hey, there's only so much air up here. That's why the local mom and pop drag strip is a full half-second slow, 45 minutes from me at the same elevation, compared to 3 hours away in Sacramento, California. Half a second. So that's kind of what you're up against, you know. You can't be the hero in this dyno room and get the big numbers. So like my 1250, a lot of you probably know Igor, my orange project bike, 1250. I made the best of 132, almost 133 at my previous dyno room in California. Here, the best I made was 127.50. So this bike made about 99.5. It made 100 horsepower 1 or 2 times, but mostly it was 99 here, stock. And but keep in mind, as your numbers go up and you start making more power, your percentage of gain goes down. It isn't like equal, because there's only so much air you can pull through the air box and the air filter and get out of it. So anyway, we still did pretty good. I made just shy, I call it 116 horsepower, at 99.5 stock. So we're making between 16 and 17 horsepower gain in this dyno room. So I think that was pretty good. Sure, I wish the number was higher. It made 115.91, about 92 to 90, 72 to 73 foot-pounds. So from stock here, I think it was 66 foot-pounds and 99.5. I think it made 100 a couple times even, but it was under mostly. So. And I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'm not quite done yet. I don't think we're going to get much more out of it. Now it's just really fine-tuning and trying to get the fuel mileage and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get started. Okay, guys, I've got the fueling backed off the stock on the cruise and light throttle through the bottom end and up through the mid-range and cruising speed on the highway. So the left over here is your speedometer. You can see the digital. I'll put it up in 6th gear once we get going. You'll have to count the gears. Here's the real RPM, which is about 500 higher than on the TAC. Forget this is braking. I don't have that on. Here's your air fuel right here. So I'm going to show you how it is right now. Pretty close to a stock bike. And then I'm going to put in my settings that I ended up with as far as to this point. Okay? Here we go. huge difference. It should run really good out on the road, even without the fuel cutoff shut off. You notice how quick I can make a recover and get right back in the green, and that's going to make a big difference, really big. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll have a first setting that you can lean it out kind of halfway in between stock and that, and we'll do some fuel mileage readings on the dash, which isn't accurate, but at least it shows you something. So I'm going to start working on some other little areas to touch up now, but I thought that was a good example in real time. You saw the speed, you saw the air fuel, and you saw the RPM, and I was in 5th and 6th gear, and then the other lighter gears, you know, in the mid-range, and cruising along through town in 2nd. So, okay, that's it for that one. Okay, let's do a pull. Comp 2, 14-inch. On the Black Widow header. Stage 2 tune. O2 disabled. Secondaries removed. Airbox mod. Can filters. Filter. And 114. That's kind of the first session. The room temperature needs to come up more. We're at 74 degrees. We need to be at 79 or so. So anyway, I just wanted you to hear it. Keep working. All right, guys, this is still day 2. I've done 37 pulls today. I ended at 179 the other night, and just stopped here at 216, so I think I did, what, 37 or so today. So I've just been shifting the fuel curve around, trying to get the best overall drivability, shooting for fuel mileage, all that good stuff. This is just what I'm going to show one last time. The number 72 is one of the best pulls with no tune, with the full system. Okay, with the Comp 2 head, muffler that I have on it now. Okay, and then that's 72, that's the red line. And then 208 is from today. It took me half the time in here to match my numbers, get the room all up to temperature, everything. And so anyway, up in this area here, we're making about 10 to 12 foot-pounds more torque. That's between 5,000 and 6,000 RPM. Okay. Let me pick up the camera. Here you go. And that's your nice torque there. It starts pulling away right at about 4,200 RPM, and then kills it right through there, and that's good. That really make accelerate good. A lot more low end. Then it's pretty much ahead of it, and then it crosses over just a smidgen right here. That's at 7 grand. Okay, and that's within a foot-pound. And then the torque is still the blue line, and it just keeps going. So horsepower, it all coincides with the torque. Okay guys, so here's Mr. Green, bone stock. It made 99 and a half. It made 100 horsepower once, but it made 99 most of the time. So, and it made that much torque, 99.5 horsepower, 6673, and this is one of the pulls today that I just showed you. So it's huge. Down here you really can't compare here, because that's just where I started the pull, 2800 versus really early when I was first doing it at 2 grand. Okay, so anyway, once it's up here, it's even Steven. So the Green, here's your horsepower. We're talking huge everywhere. Huge, huge, huge. You know, 10, 8 holds it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 or 12. Then, you know, huge up here. We're talking big power, where it just falls off. So here's your torque. Yeah, look at it. Between here is your 5 to, well, everywhere, but here's your 4 to 7,000 RPM. We're talking, oh geez, can't even count those numbers. That's at least 12, 15 foot-pounds of torque right there. And then it holds at 8 all the way across, and there's about 10, and then it falls way off, and it's another 12, 14 foot-pounds right there before it hits the rev limiter. So huge gains. You've seen it with other guys that tune them. That's kind of what you get. But and then let's look at what are we going to look at next? I want to show you. Yeah, these two runs. Let me shut the camera off. I'm going to show you some air fuel. Okay. Okay, I expanded the air fuel chart on the bottom here. On the tops run number 8 stock and number 209 from today. That's a 99.5 and 115. Anyway, so here's your stock bike. It's off the chart about 17 or 18 to 1 when you first roll into the throttle. Here you got to remember, I'm started at about 2,800 on this pull, and this is 15 to 1 here, 14 and 13, but I am rolling out of the throttle, coming down even, and I'm in 5th gear, and then I'm wrapping the throttle, not jerking it, but still, you know, twisting it pretty hard. You always get a little hump that it has to recover, and then it takes off, and then, you know, your air fuel comes across. So yeah, it's lean as hell and then rich everywhere else, and it really falls off stock. I mean, it's 11 to 1 down just before at the rev limit. It's, you know, 11 and a half, 10 to 1. So yeah, there's some air fuel right there. Let me show you just some repeatability of a few. So let me pull those up for you. All right, well, here's 3 runs, pretty much 3 runs in a row. 208, 209, and 210 from the day today, day 2. These are all 115. The last one was pretty hot in the room. It was about 81 degrees, so almost 115. So here's your air fuel here. That's 14 to 1, so you get the little blip right there. Okay, when I'm rolling into the throttle, and then immediately I got it down here. It's you know, the red line's 13 to 1. It actually makes more power with it a little leaner, and the higher 13s up through the middle. I went back and forth on that. You can't even count how many times.
So it liked it a little leaner right there, and then it still likes it a little richer on top. So up on top, I got it right down to 13:1, all the way from about 7,200 RPM. Some of the runs it barely kisses 12.9 in here, but mostly 13, 13.1, all the way. And on the end here is when I let off the throttle and hits the rev limiter. So pretty sweet. Like I say, you can do just as good with this as ECU flashing, blah, 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 but it's only as good as the guy doing it and if you put in the time. This is harder. You know, it's easier to hook the thing up to the computer and take 5% out here and there with the flash. But I've been doing this for years with this tuner, and it just takes me more runs. But unlike a Power Commander or a couple other ones where you got to use the eddy current brake and just beat the hell out of the motor, you don't have to do that with this. I just do roll-ons in 5th gear, touch the rev limiter, roll out of it, and I use my brake to slow the motor down. So it's pretty easy on the motor. I mean, I get fresh motor oil and it doesn't hurt a damn thing. It's a stock motor.
10-inch bad boy, stage 2. Close. 114.96, 114.92, and 115. Even. 14 comp 2, same core. Tiny bit better. Not much. And a horsepower. 14 comp 1, stage 2 test. Pretty stout. 114.98, 2 115 and a halves. 72 plus every run. So almost matches the 14 Comp 2. The Comp 2 will make a teeny bit more torque in certain areas, but it's a toss-up. Alright, so that's the 14 Comp 1, 224 and 208's the Comp 2. And the Comp 2 still beats it pretty good up in the torque. See it? That's the blue line. Horsepower is close. The torque and power coming up through the middle in a couple spots. Definitely it likes the slightly larger core. Okay, 14 street core with the stage 2 tune. Pretty good. It's still made 114 plus twice and 113 once. It's 81.7 degrees in here. Teeny bit less torque, but not bad. It isn't like a 3 horsepower again. It's a couple horsepower, 1.5 to 2 horsepower at the most from the Comp 2. Okay, so 14th Street is still a really good option. The Street Core 17, I'm not going to put on it. I'm just running the hell out of it. It makes probably 1 horsepower less. So still going to do pretty good. Probably 114, even 113 and a half or something. But it will be much more subtle. So, okay, now I'm going to do some fuel mileage stuff. Up in 6th gear, you can see the speedometer. Let's see what it does at 65. Well, that's unscientific, and it's too hard to do. But the real story is going to be out on the road. But that was fun. At least we tried it. Yeah, I think it's probably, I had it around 14.2, and I did see about a 2 mile per gallon difference. And then, you know, I'm letting off and it goes up and down. So anyway, it was fun. Well, that was a hell of a day. It was about 10:45 I started. It's 4:02 in the afternoon right now. Pretty much did everything as much as I possibly could. I've got the tune, I think, nailed. I'm going to get it registered, go down to Mexico down here. Like I was saying, I did test the other mufflers here towards the end of the day. It was about 81 degrees. Not too bad, hurts it a teeny bit, not that much. 79 to 81. Anyway, so yeah, we did a total of 228 dyno pulls on the bike now total. I ended up doing more testing the muffler, so I did 49 today. But I got the tune nailed. I did a little fuel mileage thing. It doesn't work on here. It's just not accurate, and you can't simulate the road. So we'll do that on the road. Yeah, I think maybe just the cruise compared to the dyno. I'll do the on-off throttle testing out on the road, and I'll play with that just a smidge, maybe half a click or something if it makes it a little better. Then that's it. So I'll let you know my impressions, and you'll come with the ride along the ride with me. So thanks for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up before I drop dead, and please comment and ring the bell and all that good stuff, and subscribe and show your buddies. Appreciate it. I'm working hard. All right, man. Take care. Thanks for watching.